Welcome to another Node-RED Dashboard 2.0 video. And I've been playing around with it, last time we looked at the new gauges and the circular progress, and this time I was looking through some of the other controls that we have, and I came across the card, which is like, it's a piece of sort of component where you can display information and images and also like buttons if you want. And one of the example was a weather example, just like this one here. And I thought, oh, we love weather. We always use weather information, and we most probably are going to display weather information in our dashboard. So maybe instead of just listing all the weather details, maybe we can just have a nice card which looks like this. So I took the example and I created this one, which, I mean, at the moment it is static, but I designed this so it can pull the data directly from Open Weather Map. And I started playing around with a couple of examples. So the first one is that you have an expandable card. So by default, it just shows a couple of information, and then you can click on show forecast. So it gives you the forecast. I just use the next 8 days, which is available from Open Weather Map. And you can also do like a small one where it only shows you the feels like temperatures and minimum maximum for the day. And then there is another one which has forecast as well in a slightly different fashion, and it also shows the chance of rain. And I thought maybe I'm going to combine it with an image as well. So maybe you will have a webcam, either it's your webcam or maybe like a public webcam, and you can just include the image along with the sort of the weather icon and the temperature details. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. And before I go ahead, a little bit of disclaimer. So let me change my view. So the way I wanted to design this is I wanted to create this sort of like a documentation layout, and I picked the notepad layout for from the pages. And it looks like there is a bug in the ordering, because the way I imagine this, that there is like an introduction text and there is one of the example, and I have a little bit of explanation how that works, and I have another example, and then I have another text and another text. And I ordered these groups, this is a single group. I ordered all these nodes correctly, but they are just not showing up correctly. So I wanted a card and a text, and so this simple card should have been here, and then the corresponding text under it, but it just doesn't work. So there is an issue on that. Yeah, it looks like a bug in Dashboard 2.0. But actually, I have a suspicion that maybe if you import my flow, then the order is going to be okay, because when I did this initially, everything was fine, and I kept adding, creating more of these variants, creating more of these markdowns, and then at some point it just, the order just got messed up. So maybe if you import it, then it's going to be fine, but I'm not sure. I also want to say, I said it in my previous video as well, but I just want to mention it here, that's the flow that I'm going to export for you. And when you import it, so you import your flow, and then you click on the first UI element, and then you see that it is in a single group. And if you go into the page, you see that it's this page is set as yes, the page itself is set to notebook. So what you need to do is here, there will be a UI created by you, and probably when you import my flow, that's going to create another UI. So just select the UI which you are using, and then you only have to do it once, because all of these controls use a single page. And then if you, not here, as I said, not here, and if you go to dashboard, no, if you go to the configuration nodes, then you have to scroll down to UI basis. Where is it? It should be somewhere here. Tabs. Jesus. Yeah, UI base. So there is probably going to be two. So one that you have created, and the other one which was created by when you imported my flow. So you just click create on the second one and you delete, because dashboard currently only deals with one UI base. Okay, with this out of the way, Now we can concentrate on the flow. So as I said, this I designed this to be used with Open Weather Map, but instead of just including all the old Open Weather Map details, what I have done is I inserted a sample response from Open Weather Map in this inject node. And obviously you want to change this to, you know, whatever your piece of flow which is dealing with Open Weather Map. And I have a complete video on how you set up Open Weather Map, you know, API keys and everything. So I didn't want to include that. I'm going to link it in the cards, so you'll find the link to that video. If I don't forget, I put it in the video description as well. But if you find my other video, it's going to be like this. So you have an HTTP call to Open Weather Maps, and I'm not going to show the whole URL because it has my API key in it. And then you just have an update which says like, well, okay, this is not set, but normally I would set this to update, let's say every hour. So you get a new weather forecast every single hour. And the output of this flow, the output of this HTTP request goes into basically here, so replace the inject node. But the inject node is good for testing if you want to make any changes to this. So all this information which is in the which comes out of Open Weather Map goes to this function node, and here in this function node I'm doing a very few things. So mainly I am adding icons, so those are going to be the weather icons, because I had to convert the Open Weather Map icons, which comes as an ID, to the material design icons, which I can just easily display in any of the cards. So for example, this one, and in the forecast, all these icons. Unfortunately, the material icons don't have all the, you know, separate icons for all the different weather conditions, but still I think it's pretty good. And also the Open Weather Map doesn't return the name of the city, so I had to put it here. So, you know, change the name of the city here. And in some places I'm displaying the names of the day as well. So if you want to localize it, if you want to use different names, then just change these, because they are appearing, for example, here, you know, the next couple of days, and they are appearing here in the short version as well. So you can control all of these here. And as you can see, this is where I change the icons. Yeah, more icons, and the rest of it is just, you know, putting these icons into the payload so I can use it in the template. And I also do some, you know, preparing some text, so I don't have to do it on the component level in the client JavaScript. Yeah, but you don't have to worry about this. So only thing that you have to change is the city name, and if you want to do localization, you have to do these and these. Okay, and then this information goes to all the 4 different cards that you could see previously on the page. So this one, and the simple, and the other one, and the one with the image. And just for the explanation, I use these Markdown UI Markdown nodes, because I could just easily you know put like headers and links and, you know, data formatting. It's just so easy. I mean, I'm using these markdowns on GitHub as well, so I'm quite familiar how they are used. So you can see these are, you know, code formattings and some, you know, code highlight here as well, and also links. So it's just an easy way to put some content onto your page. Okay, let's look at the first one. As I said, you don't really have to understand how this one works because you don't have to make any changes, but I'm going to show you the things that I had to go through to make this to look the way it looks at the moment. I mean, you know, when you go to the Viewtify components and you look at the card, and if you scroll all the way down, that was basically the example that I used. I think there is a one down here. Yeah, that's the one that I used. It has this collapsible. I thought this one is not really useful. It doesn't really do anything. So I'm just displaying all 7 days, and yeah. But that was the source that I used for this one. One thing I had to do is for the card, I had to set the color to white, because otherwise the card will pick up the color of the navigation, because that looks like that's the primary color. So then in the background was green, sorry, blue. Well, in my case it was blue. So I had to just manually set to white. And so as you can see, the card title is the name of the city, and the card subtitle is a description, which is basically, so that's the city, that's the card title, and the subtitle of the card is the description of the weather for today. So that's the long description, what the weather is going to be like. And by the way, if you go back to, again here to the view component, this is how it basically explains you that a card looks like you have a title and a subtitle, and you can have some additional text, you can have action buttons. So that's the, you know, the hide and show forecast and hide forecast buttons. And of course, besides these, you can put anything else in the card. So, yep. And going further down, so there is a table, well, there is a row with a couple of columns. So one displays the temperature, and also you can change the centigrade here. So if you want to use Fahrenheit, that's where you can change the C to F. And I display the icon, which comes from the payload. So it comes from payload and .mdi MDI icon, and then it has an MDI icon color. So I also use the fact that these so the sun should be displayed as orange, and if we have like rain, that's going to be displayed with indigo color. So I'm determining the name of the icon and the color of the icon as well. So if you want to change any of those, then you can go back here. So this is where I define the icons and then the colors. You see it's mostly like, you know, orange, blue, gray, indigo, yellow, and yeah, blue, gray. Okay, going back. Yeah, so that's the icon and the color. So that's basically this line here. And then we have another line where we list, okay, and then we have some other line which, where is, oh yeah, sorry, it's here. So that's the wind speed and the percentage of precipitation, POP. So that's basically this line here, which is getting displayed. So I already do some of the conversions in the function node to times because the POP comes as like 0.15 for 15%. So I just times it by 100. So it comes as 15, and I just put percentage. And the wind speed is kilometer per hour. So again, if you want to change the unit, you can change it here. And then next, that's the section which renders the forecast. So that's basically a list which has all the list items where the name is the title and the minimum max temperature is the subtitle. And we have an icon which is aligned to the right. So that's all the things that are getting here. So as you can see that we have a list, and we have list items which are bind to the payload.daily, which comes in the, you know, into the component or into the node. And this v4 basically says that, you know, duplicate this list item as many items we have in the payload.daily. And then again, you see there is a key, a title, and a subtitle and an icon. And that's it. And then we have a divider, and then we have these card actions, which says show forecast or hide forecast, and that just toggles an internal variable which, as you can see, it either displays or hides the div where the forecast is shown. So this is how it appears and disappears. It was a good example. It's not something that I come up with, but it's really good. And finally, we do have some script section as well. So we had to define a data section. So this is the expand, which shows the forecast and by default is collapsed. And you have a payload, which is, you know, by default is empty. And then in the watch events, so if we receive a message and if it has a payload, then we put the payload into the payload object. So this dot payload. And as you can see, payload.city, payload.description. This is how I can reference to any properties of that payload object. And I decided just to pass the whole payload instead of just defining all the various fields separately. So if you want to pass more information, so if I do a debug, then you can see that this is the information which gets passed to all the nodes. And so it is, the whole open weather map, which is this one, it is massive. It has so many other fields which are not going to display on the template or the card. So I thought I'm just going to include only the ones that I'm going to display. So city temperature fields like wind speed, that's the description, icons, icon color, the rain, and in the daily it comes as a list. And again, you can see how I pre-populate the text, short text, rain, the min max temperature, and the icon as well, so that can be displayed in either of these cards. So that's the main one with the forecast. And then we have the simple one, which is it looks really very much the same. Of course, it doesn't have the actions on the card. It doesn't have the list which displays the the forecast. It has again the city, and here the subtitle is the feels like, and I just give it another heading 5 text and alignment to the right. So this is why it appears on the right, and it's in a slightly different font than the description was previously. And here I change the icons and the colors the way around, so the icon is left, the temperature is on the right, but otherwise it's the same. And also I added one extra row here, you can see here, and so the daily, the today's min max temperature is here aligned to the right as well. And then finally we have the next one, which shows the forecast as well, but not in an expandable fashion. And here, normally in the open weather map, we have 8 days of forecast, but I couldn't really fit 8 days. I could only fit 6 days. So instead of doing the loopy thing in the, by tying the list view to the elements or, the array, what I did, I actually just, listed out the first 6 items of the array. So you can see that I created a row, and then all of these days are basically cells within that row, and I display the day short text, the percentage of precipitation, and then the icon and the temp min max. So, and because it's a fairly narrow column, everything just goes under each other. Well, actually no, I included the BR, and I'm not really sure if I should be doing BR. After all, I can use HTML elements, and those will be rendered as HTML elements, and it seems to be working. So, and everything is aligned to the center, so it looks, fairly nicely formatted. So I don't think that you would need to make any changes here. Yeah, if you want to change the Celsius to Fahrenheit, then yeah, obviously you have to do that. It's up here. Okay. And then finally, we go back to the one with the image. And yeah, so I decided not to pass the image in the message, in the payload, but I sort of just hard-coded the image here. So this, in this case, before I display the card, I also display an image. Oh no, sorry. Within the card, first I display the image, and only after that I have the card text. And I also added these small divs, which gives a little bit of spacing between the image and the rest of the text. So that's basically like a very small spacing here and also here. So there is a little bit of space between the last line, which is this one, and the border of the card. So obviously change the HTML here. Change the URL here. The cover just means that the image is blown into the space available for this card. So I think by default, you can see what the properties of the V image is, but I just set the height to 300 pixels, and obviously the width is the width of the of the card itself, and the cover just means that it zooms into the image, so there are no borders around the image, so it takes up the space which is available. It zooms into the space which is available. So I'm losing some of the stuff here, but it's fine, for a quick preview. And besides that, we just have regular card, which again has it has card text. So I'm not even using the card title and the subtitle, I'm just using the card text. And within the card text, I create a row. On the left, I have the icon, and on the right, I have the current temperature and the min max. And as you can see, I just put the current temperature as bold, and under it, there goes the min max. So it's the same size, but the current temperature is a little bit, that's just bold. And yep, I'm not sure why I have the divider here. There's nothing really else in this, so I could even delete this. And for all the examples, the data and the watch section is exactly the same, because it just makes it easier. I'm passing the entire payload to the component as well, and I can just pick the the fields that I need for the particular version of the card. So if I need, I mean, for example, this one doesn't even show the name of the city or the forecast, but yeah, the information is sent to the template node, but it's just not getting used anywhere. And that's it. So, weather cards, I think they are useful. And the reason I did these, because when I was looking through the cards, card is one of the first things that are listed here. And I thought, I mean, you can see that you can do some really nice stuff here. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going through these Viewtify components. It's like, oh, this looks good. How we could use this in a home, sort of like a home automation scenario, how we can customize it so it becomes useful for something that we usually work with. And anyway, as I reached to the end of it, I thought, oh, this really looks cool. I should copy this one. I mean, of course, I replaced the weather alert to the weather description, and played around with the icons a little bit, but I think it looks cool. And these are good examples. So as I said, oops, what was that? Go back here. So as I said, just like before, I'm going to export this part of the flow to a JSON, and I'm going to put the link in the video description. So if you want to use this, then you can just you can just import it, and then change the UI base as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And of course, once you have done playing around with it, then you can watch my other video how you can actually consume Opal Weather Map, and you can replace this example with the HTTP request, and you will have your weather cards on your home Node-RED dashboard updated automatically, let's say every hour. So I think that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.